Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, here to help you find your most unwavering love, beauty, and kindness for yourself inside and out. I will be teaching you nutrition and macro tracking secrets, reverse diet and metabolism health tips and tricks, and motivating the heck out of you so you want to leap up and start conquering your goals right away. I am here to help bring you the light at the end of the tunnel so you can discover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, or if you're in the car or at the gym, go ahead and bump up your volume just a little so we can drown out those gym grunters next to you, and we can go ahead and dive right in. Don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook by simply doing a 5-star rate and review on this podcast. All you need to do is submit a 5-star rate and review, then send us your name and email through the link in the show notes so we know exactly where to send your cookbook. By submitting your 5-star rate review, this will also automatically enter you into the weekly podcast macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely winner who leaves an awesome 5-star rate and review. This winner is announced every week on my Instagram story as well as my newsletter email list. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I'll see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite things in the entire world. This episode is going to be, I know I say this for very many episodes, but holy moly, my notes for this are absolute freaking fire. This episode, as well as episode 102, so the one that's going to be coming after this next week. Oh my gosh, they are so good. I'm like giddy. I was just going through my notes. I always record my notes a couple weeks earlier, and then I record a couple of weeks later. I cycle sync for my workouts, but also for my work schedule. And so I have the most energy, and I just get excited in this phase of my cycle. And so I'm really excited. I'm so excited. So today we are going to be talking about losing 50 pounds in 2 weeks. Some pros and cons here. I've got lots of thoughts here. And then also ditching the quick fix mentality for success. And I am so excited. So we're just going to dive right in. That's all I've got to say. Let's go ahead and dive into the episode. Losing 50 pounds in 2 weeks and ditching the quick fix mentality for long-term sustainable success. So what is success? First and foremost, we have to talk about what does success mean. I think for some people it might have different meanings than others, but I want to talk about what I mean when I'm talking about success. We've got financial success, we've got success in making all A's, all B's, whatever it may be, success in our career, or we have success in losing a certain amount of weight, a desired amount of weight, desired amount of fat. So when we think about success, let's actually break it down into, I think I have this in my notes, break it down into those pieces above. So financial success. We have 2 types of success that we're just going to talk about here when it comes to financial success. We have those who win the lottery or win something like that where they just get a massive amount of money. They did nothing but buy a lottery ticket. They didn't try hard. They just bought the lottery ticket and then they made millions of dollars. They didn't try hard. They got lucky. They got that quick money. Then we have those people who have been putting in the work day in and day out. And over time, whether that is decades, well, I mean, it will be decades. So they have been putting in the work for a very, very long time. And day in and day out, right? They are understanding that this is going to compound over time. They are going to see more and more results over time. It may not show up right then and there, but over time, they're going to see more and more growth. And they end up with financial security and financial freedom. The latter ones are more realistic. They're putting in the work, they're showing up, they're growing, they're changing, they're understanding they're not going to see changes right then and there, and they end up with their financial freedom and their financial success. We've got success in our careers. When we think back to the very first day of our job, there were probably so many things that we did not know what to do, how to do, probably felt overwhelmed. We felt like the little newbie. We felt like the beginner. over the years, right? You're starting to learn, you're starting to grow, you're getting better and better, you're showing up, you're putting in the work, you're showing up for that job to better yourself at that job, to push forward in your career. You may get a raise, you may get a bonus, right? You're actually succeeding because you're showing up over the years. It just does not happen right then and there. So why is it that when we come to weight loss, we want the quick fix? We want that fast track straight to losing all the weight, and we don't want to do a single thing about it. We just want to pay our $9.97 to that diet world, diet, whatever the next diet is, and we just want our weight to go away. We say, all right, bye, here, take my money, take my $9.99, and we'll just, there goes the fat. See ya. All right, I'm done. That was easy. And I'm feeling goofy. I don't know why I felt that. I feel like I want to laugh right now at the fact of like me like sitting here waving bye to that. I don't know why. I'm feeling goofy today. So I'm like giggling to myself as I'm saying this. I have people who reach out telling me they love my podcast. And I'm like, I am so glad, because sometimes I'm sitting here just like making jokes that probably make no sense to anyone. Well, they probably will make sense to the people who actually are like my personality and like my kind of vibe. You are probably the kind of person I would go out to dinner with or go get drinks with, like we would probably have fun together. So maybe you do get it. But half the time I'm just like, I think I'm sitting here like cracking myself up and going on these like nerdy rants solely because it's like exciting myself. So like when I hear the feedback from you that you are also enjoying my podcast, it makes me excited. So anyway, back to the episode here, back to these little details. One of my, and I have this actually in my notes here, one of my favorite books in the entire world is The Compound Effect. Quite truly, such a good book. I have all of my BPM clients either read or listen to it. It's on Audible, I'm pretty sure. It's so good. It is so good. But I wanted to actually read something out to you that came directly from The Compound Effect. I reread it once a year at least, and I'm currently rereading it now. And I came across this, and I have notes in there. I have things highlighted. I have things underlined. And I actually have never highlighted or underlined this for some reason. I don't know why. But I read it this year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So I want to read it to you. We are consistently bombarded with increasingly sensational claims to get rich, get fit, get younger, get sexier all overnight, with little effort for only 3 easy payments of $39.95. These repetitive marketing messages have distorted our sense of what it really takes to succeed. We have lost sight of the simple but profound fundamentals of what it takes to be successful. And I read that prior to making my notes for this podcast episode, knowing that this is what I wanted to talk about. And I was like, that just hit it on the dot. That is it on the dot. The repetitive marketing messages out in the diet industry of just pay $39.95 and you will lose 100 pounds. And it completely removes the idea that we have to put in work in order to see changes happen. When we are completely skipping the actual work, we are not growing. We are staying stagnant. We are not going in the right direction. And if anything, sometimes we're going in the opposite direction. And it's just the diet industry is full of it, right? Diet pills, quick weight loss, there's so many things. I go on and on. Drink your skinny tea and you'll be A-okay. If you've ever read my story, or I've talked about some podcast episodes too, but if you go to my website and just click, I think I literally have like Meet Caitlen or My Story or something like that. So click that on my website. My website, just type in CSCHMIDT.fit into your web browser and it will bring you directly to my website. My website is the same as my Instagram, my TikTok. It's also the same as my Pinterest, but there's no period. And then my YouTube, which I'm not very good with keeping up with YouTube. All C. Schmidt Fit though. Anyway, besides the point, type in C. Schmidt Fit, fit into your web browser, click Meet Caitlen, and you will read the full story. But I had an experience back when I was in college. We had a 2-day formal for the sorority that I was in. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get ready to get into this dress. I'm going to get formal ready, like all of these things. And I drank skinny tea and I had to miss the second day of my formal because I could not get off the toilet. I know that's probably a TMI for so many people, but I, in my world, don't believe in TMI. I like my clients to give me all the details because I can support them. And so anyway, I missed my formal because I was stuck on the toilet because I drank skinny tea that was promising me to lose blank amount of weight overnight. And it's not realistic. The reason why you're losing weight is because you're sitting on the toilet and you've lost all of this stuff from your body, and now you are completely dehydrated. You're likely not feeling great. Your probably energy is not doing so well. Your skin's probably going to be nice and dry. Your under eye circles, I've got terrible circles. I always cover up with a concealer. Everything is going to be kind of a little bit worse, all because we want to do that skinny tea to get to the quick fix. I have so many good stories. If you guys ever want to know my best diet stories of my own personal life, or I've had clients where we talked about this in BPM, we were like, what is the craziest diet story you have? The cabbage diet, I still am just like mind blown by that. Where you eat just cabbage or something like that for like 7 days. I don't know. So wild. It is so wild. It's almost laughable. Like I'm looking back and thinking back to my time and I'm like, it's almost laughable the things that I did, but we don't know. I'm getting myself so hyped up here. I'm like sitting here like moving my arms and talking and getting excited. But I really think that the diet industry in our world today tricks us into thinking pay $9.99 and your problems will be solved. And it's just not that way. I'm sorry, I'm talking so fast now. I just get excited. So we spend so much time and we have so much else going on in our life that we want the easy route. But the problem here is we spend so much time trying to attain that easy route and that quick fix that we end up wasting way more time than we actually could have if we just put in the work at the beginning. I had somebody reach out to me actually. I want to give people a hug. I wish I could just give people a big bear hug and say, you're going to be okay. It's okay. I had somebody reach out to me earlier. Actually, this happens all the time, but actually I've had 2 people this week who did this, but they reached out. They said, how long is my reverse diet going to take? Which actually that's next week's episode. And I'm wildly excited about that one. How long is my reverse diet going to take? I'm eating 1,200 calories for the sake of this example. And she was actually eating a little bit less, but just for the sake of this example, I'll say 1,200. And she said, I don't want to I don't want a long reverse diet because I want to lose the weight now. And I want to give you a big bear hug and say, my sweet girl, we have to reverse diet. If you want to lose that weight, we have to reverse diet. And we just spend so much time, so many years doing the next best diet, the next restriction. Oh, what can I cut out next? That we waste so much time. So if you think back to your New Year's resolutions in 2015, let's say maybe we wanted to lose 50 pounds. We've never dieted before. And we're like, cool, keto. I keep seeing keto pop up. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive into keto. Cool, we're not going to eat any sugar, we're not going to eat carbs, and I'll just eat out less on the weekend and that will solve my problems. Which, as we know, that is actually creating triggers, right? Creating triggers. So in the future, carbs are going to become a trigger for you, sugar is going to become a trigger, and eating out is going to become a trigger for binging. It's so interesting when you actually start to look at your past diet history, which is why I love it when people reach out to me on Instagram and they're like, hey, Kate, Caitlen, my clients call me Kate. We become such little buddies, but hey, Caitlen, I would love to see, I would love to walk you through what's going on with me. How can you support like your coaching courses, whatever it may be? I'm like, great, awesome. And they'll say, I want to lose 50 pounds. Awesome. I love that goal. And also, I would like to know your diet journey, what you've tried, what you haven't tried. Do you have anything going on with your relationship with food? Like, give me the full rundown. Like, I want to hear all of the details. And it's important for me because you can actually look back at that information, which is why I think so many people who don't actually pay attention to the full from start to end. I've had clients walk me through their first diet being in middle school. And I'm like, I need that information. I want to know that information because it's going to allow me to support you at the absolute best level. And also you can look back at those past diets and say, hey, okay, this year I started cutting out carbs. Oh, wow, so interesting. That's when the fear of carbs started to come into play. Oh, this year I actually started binge eating. Oh, interesting. That year you were doing Noom. That's super interesting. And so you can kind of start to put the pieces together. And that's how I like to start healing from the inside out, by looking at the big picture, breaking it down, and then starting to heal one by one. Okay. So back to our example here, 2015, you wanted to lose 50 pounds. You decided to do keto to start, no sugar, and you're going to eat out on the weekends. You're like, cool, I've written my New Year's resolutions. That's what I'm going to do. Here we go. You're excited. You're going to see this progress this year and you're pumped. Then we go to 2016 and the New Year's resolution. Well, I gained 10 pounds last year, tried to do keto, got really stressed out, was having a really hard time not eating out on weekends. I actually started to binge eat, started to have these binges, start to come up, completely went haywire, and I actually ended up gaining 10 more pounds. Now I actually want to lose 60 pounds. So 2016, I am going to lose 60 pounds. Well, what are you going to do about it? Oh, I'm not going to drink alcohol. And actually, I'm going to still not eat sugar. Last year, I still ate it. So that's probably the problem. I'm just not going to eat sugar. And I've actually even canceled a couple of my trips this year because I don't think that I should travel. I think I would rather hit that 60-pound point than travel. And then once I hit that point, then I will start to travel. Cool, awesome. You go. Also, a reminder, If you are giving up your social life, your travel, in order to hit a point, a physical change, not sustainable, not maintainable, you need to learn how to navigate the real world scenarios while seeing that weight loss happen. Reminder that we don't want to avoid things. We want to learn how to navigate those situations. Fast forward. So we've gone through 2015 and 2016. Fast forward to 2023. We are almost to the end of the year, and you're starting to think about your New Year's resolutions, and they look exactly like they did in 2015. However, you have now added that you want to work on your relationship with food. You want to heal your metabolism. You want to heal your relationship with yourself. And you actually now want to start healing your relationship with your friends and family because you started to lash out. Maybe you've lost some friends because you haven't been going out as much. I personally lost connection with a number of my friends, and it's very sad. I lost connection with them just because I never went out. I was cranky. I was tired. I lashed out at them. And I will say, though, I fully believe that the friends that are in your life are meant to be in your life for a reason. I had friends who, instead of reacting, they asked how they could help. And I just know the people that are around you. Are they pushing you into a positive place, or are they an energy suck, and are they not doing great for your growth? I personally don't have friends. I don't do drama, period. I run from drama. It's so funny. Colton, my husband, and there's no drama in my life. Like, my friends and I are just, that's not the way I live my life. And so if you've ever seen those reels or TikTok or memes or whatever it is, and it's like when the husband comes home or the wife comes home and it's talking about the work drama, and it's like, you're so invested in what's going on because there's such little drama in your life. And it's fun. Like, I will listen to somebody else's drama, but I do not want to be any part of it. If somebody's talking about somebody else behind their back, I don't want to be part of that. I don't like gossip. No, thank you. So it's just interesting, but that was more of just a personal tidbit. We were actually talking about this in BPM a while back, and I had a couple girls. We actually had this big old conversation, which is the really cool thing about BPM and about coaching is the fact that it's more than just weight loss. It's more than just healing your metabolism. It is a full stepping into this next life of your chapter and taking the power back and becoming the person that you have always dreamed of becoming. The person that you look up to, you will become them, but you have to show up for yourself. And I think too many people, when we have this quick fix mentality, too many people are losing out on leveling up and becoming the role model that they want to be for their kids, for their friends, for their family, because they aren't actually realizing, or they're not having the self-awareness and realization that they can't just pay $9.99, do a quick fix, and solve their problems. Like, they have to put in the work. And so I want to do actually I have a little note here actually in my notes. Classic example of me going completely off track with my notes. It is fine. I said, this is why people feel they just need a new diet. Oh, this is so true. People think that they just need a new diet. They just need to cut out a different food. And the problem is not that they haven't found the right quick fix. They haven't found the right pill. They haven't found the right, diet, surgery, or whatever it may be. That's not the problem. The problem is very likely a slow metabolism. And also they need a new game plan that's going to fit into their life. I always talk about my signature framework that BPM is built around, that my courses are built around, that my coaching is built around. It is sustainable, maintainable, educational, and enjoyable. Okay? Has to be sustainable, has to fit naturally into your life. If you're supposed to be eating 500 grams of protein, that's not sustainable, not realistic, it's not going to happen. If you have to cut out your sugar, not sustainable, not realistic, not going to happen. Has to be maintainable. Okay? And so in other words, you need something that's going to be sustainable for your life. Has to be maintainable. You cannot do something if it's telling you that you can or cannot go out to eat, if you can or cannot travel, if you can or cannot do this or that. I had somebody who asked me, she was like, hey, is it okay if I'm a vegetarian? I was like, of course. Yes, please. I love this. I have multiple vegetarians. I mean, so many different food preferences and food choices due to their own preferences or dietary restrictions rather than the diet box telling them what they can or cannot eat. If you can't have dairy, cool, that's fine. It does not matter. I will never, ever, ever tell you that you can or cannot have something or force you to eat something or say like, no, that's not good for you. That's not the way that I roll. Absolutely not. I want you to live your life. I want you to travel. I want you to enjoy the holidays. I want you to do the real world things while learning how to navigate those situations, because that's when the long-term changes happen. Okay. We don't need a weight loss surgery. We don't need the perfect diet pill. We don't. And I have an episode coming up on diet pills too, because I have a very, 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 very strong stance on this, as well as weight loss surgery. I really do have a very strong stance on this. And I didn't prior to my education, and now understanding the human metabolism and understanding the way that our body works, these things are doing so much more damage than we really need them to be doing. So anyway, there will be a future episode on that. So when it comes to the way my brain works, we all know, if you have been in my podcast for a while, you know that I love a visualization. And oh my gosh, I'm like getting super toasty. I'm like really hyped up in this episode, and I'm like moving around a lot, and I have a sweater on because it's a little bit chilly outside. Yes, I'm so excited about it. But now I'm like really toasty. I'm like, I want to turn my fan on, but I also can't get up because I can't keep talking while I am recording this because my mic is right here. So we're just going to sit through the fact that I think my cheeks are getting like so red because I'm so hot. It is fine. It is fine. I'm excited. So let's go ahead and do a classic Caitlen example. If you have been hanging around with my podcast for a while, you know I love, love, love a good visualization for something, because I think it helps us really, really connect the dots and see things as they need to be. So I know so many people who want to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds within 2 weeks, and I'm going to actually give you an example and walk through scenarios of success and failures. And when I say failure, I mean it didn't work in that time, but you're going to learn and grow from it. So whenever I say failure, I don't mean that's the end all. You failed. You're never going to see success. I just mean that what you did in that scenario didn't work out for you, so you need to readjust and move forward. Okay. So let us imagine 3 friends who all want to lose weight. And also on this, oftentimes, I just try to mix also and often. It came out like also. Anyway, oftentimes, especially around the holidays, people sit around, and I've noticed that women actually start talking about what diet they're doing and, oh, who's doing best? Oh, I can't eat that. And I'm like, I'm going to leave the room with my cookie and a glass of wine. It's so interesting when you see how much the diet industry has impacted men and women, but just in our society. It's wild. So let's imagine 3 friends. All 3 friends want to lose weight. Number one, our friend number 1 is that she's deciding that she's going to do keto. Again, she's done it in the past. She's going to do it again. She's doing keto. Okay. Friend number 2, she is going to start tracking her macros. And actually, friend number 3 is also going to start tracking her macros. So we've got friend number 1, keto. Friend number 2 and number 3 are both tracking macros. Friend number 2 is going to go to Google, to YouTube, to social media, different resources like that. And she's going to compile a bunch of different resources, and she's going to create her game plan. Friend number 3, she is tracking her macros, and she's also recognizing that it's going to take time. She's actually going to invest in an expert because she knows she is not the expert, and she would rather not spend time going on Google and all these different articles or social media platforms, all this. She's like, nah, I just want to go directly to the source. I want the professional. I want somebody to walk me through this. Now, something also that's really important about actually friend number 3 is she is very aware. She has a lot of self-awareness. She is someone who has been in the place of personal development and working on herself. She likes to take ownership because she's done it in the past, and she realized that every time she takes ownership of things, she starts to better herself and things go forward. Now, and I actually have a note in here that says mistakes are how we learn. And it's so true, because we know with keto, it's not going to help. It's going to make it worse, but we do it again, right? So friend number 1 has done it. She hasn't hit her weight loss goal, but she's going back to keto. And we have 2 options in this scenario to number 1, blame keto and think the world is out to get us. Or number 2, own the heck up, acknowledge that we did in fact do keto. It didn't really put us in a place of happiness, and move on. We recognize we don't want to stay there. Maybe we saw short-term progress, but it ended up not having long-term progress. The fact it's about to storm outside, I hope it's not going to get too loud and blow things around on my porch. We will find out. And we want to reassess and readjust from that mistake that we learned so we can go forward with food freedom and sustainable change. So friend 1 has not realized that yet, and that's okay. It takes time. 0 judgment. I also want to say I have 0 judgment. There are things rolling around on my porch. I don't know if you guys can hear this in my podcast episode. There are things flying around. I have decorations up there. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed. Stay tuned on that one. But our friend number 1, there's never any judgment. If you are someone who is in the very fresh space of, oh my gosh, I should not have done keto, I should not have done this or that, change it from should not have to, hey, you did it and that's okay. You're learning, you're recognizing, and mega props to you because you're having this self-awareness now. Okay. 0 judgment ever, 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 ever. It is just helping you have that self-awareness, which is absolutely beautiful. And I'm here to be that little mama bear of like, hey, okay, here's what's going on. Let's get ourselves moving forward. So friend number 1, she's doing keto, and this is not month number 1. She's doing keto. She has dropped 10 pounds in that 1 month. And she's like, great, cool, we're doing well. Keto round 2, I've seen 10 pounds come off. Awesome. Friend number 2, she is tracking macros, but she is really gosh darn fed up. She has not been able to hit her goals. She is not seeing results. She's like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to stop tracking macros. Friend number 1 over here is doing keto. Maybe I should go back to doing that. She's just like, hey, I'm not seeing progress. I want to give up. Also, do you think pro football players were pro right when they started? Nope. Do you think surgeons are able to do surgery on a bone and all the things that they do right off the bat? No, they go through like 10 years of schooling. They work their butts off to get to where they are, right? Football players, this can go for any kind of profession, any kind of thing we do, our racquetballers, our tennis players, our golfers, our careers, right? We're not good right off the bat. We have to put in the work, okay? Friend number 2 hasn't seen that yet, but she will. Friend number 3, she has made mistakes. She's had good days and bad days, but she's stuck with her macros. She asked for help, and she learned how to navigate the real world scenarios so she can confidently eat the cookies, enjoy the cocktails, go out with friends, go out with family. And she hasn't actually seen massive shifts in her body, but she has recognized that the long-term changes don't come overnight. And she's aware that even though she is in a place where, yeah, sure, she has messed up, quote unquote messed up. She has fallen off track while tracking macros, but she has invested in the resources to help her learn how to navigate those situations. So when she does fall, she has somebody to help pick her up and keep her moving forward and teach her how to go about that situation again in the future with more confidence and ease. Okay. 2 months go by. Friend number 1 is actually starting to secretly binge when her kids and her husband go to bed. She stopped going out with her friend number 2 and 3, so she's not going out with her friends anymore. She is just giving up with her life. She's giving up with her confidence, and she's like, oh, this is just not meant for me. She's lashing out at her husband now, and her kids wanted to go out to get ice cream with her, and she said no because she's so fearful of binging, so her husband goes without her. She stays home. She binges anyway. Friend number 2 has completely given up with macros. She tried to recalculate her macros using MyFitnessPal or IIFYM website. She's like, that's the problem. I just didn't have the right macros. Which, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, if you do think you have incorrect macros, there is a podcast episode all about that. You can go take a peek at that. But for this case, her problem wasn't the macros. She decides that she just needs a different YouTube resource. She just needs a different TikTok resource. So she goes right on back to internet, Google, and she's trying to create her own game plan again. She's feeling pretty gosh darn lonely because she doesn't go on dates anymore. She's not really showing up as her most confident self, but she's like, hey, once I lose weight, then I'll be happy. I'm just going to try and figure out a process. Again, here we go again. We're going to start back at ground zero. Friend 3. She has mastered tracking her macros, and she's actually able to start adjusting her macros in her reverse diet because she's learned how to track macros when eating out. She knows how to go to the parties, to travel, to go through the holidays with confidence and ease. She's like, great, I still have good and bad days, but this is also so incredible because I have the support system who can help pick me up, who can help me push through those bad days. And then I'm there to go and support the other women on the days that they're having struggles, right? We're going through it together. It's great. Awesome. We're feeling good. She still actually hasn't seen massive shifts to her body physically, but she has so much more energy. Her skin is looking incredible. She's gotten her period back. She's not stressing about good food or bad food. And she's even taking her kids out to get ice cream more guilt-free. She's feeling so good and making memories. Month 4 comes around. Friend number 1 has completely fallen off again and again. Not only is she still struggling with her binge eating, but she's also starting to gain the weight back. She is feeling insecure in the times that she wants to be intimate with her significant other. Her energy is shot, and she's actually decided to go ahead and start increasing the amount of cardio that she's doing in hopes that this is going to help her get her out of this plateau and finally get, weight coming off. And she's now paying for a monthly meal replacement subscription. Friend number 2 is oh so very frustrated. The past 4 months have not given her what she was hoping, and she simply does not understand how her friend did it. How friend number 3 tracked macros, how she did it, I don't know, not going to ask her. We're just going to move on. She wants to do it on herself, on her own. She's going to Google some things for intermittent fasting, and she's going to go in that route. She is waking up cranky on a daily basis as well. And every single day in the mirror, she is tearing herself apart, saying she is not worthy because she did not do the diet right, because she can't lose weight. It's simply not going to happen for her. She's not worthy. She can't trust herself. So she's tearing herself down, tearing herself apart. She would never say this to her sister, to her mother, to her friends. She would never tear them apart, but she's doing it to herself. Okay. Not very fun. Friend number 3 is eating 300 more calories in her reverse diet. She is going through strategic adjustments to her macros that she was taught in her coaching program or her course. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is what I do. Smile. Hi, it's me. It's me, Caitlen. Master's degree here, bachelor's degree here, all the nerdy goodness to teach you, which actually had somebody ask me that the other day. I talked about this. Was that this episode or last episode? I talked about how last episode I did. People on the internet are just like cruel. There's just like mean people out there. And somebody on TikTok was like, well, what are your credentials? And I was like, I sat back smiling, like typing them all out. And somebody was like, damn, yeah, she came in with the credentials. I was like, yeah, that's right. I have my master's degree in exercise science and sports nutrition. And I wrote my master's thesis on reverse dieting to heal our metabolism and actually the impact on dieting on our metabolism and our mentality. Then I also have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. So did I just say my master's in nutrition and dietetics? Master's is in exercise science and sports nutrition. I don't know what I just said, but bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics. And so I went to school in order to become a registered dietitian, decided that I did not want to work in a hospital. That just was not where I wanted to be. Ended up going to the sports nutrition path where I got my master's in that. And that's where I learned all about macros and the human metabolism. I mean, so many different things. It's wild. Metabolic adaptation. There's different types of, I'm not going to get too in depth there. Anyway, it's very cool, very nerdy. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Friend number 3 invested in a coach. Just pretend it's me. Hey, it's me. But she's seeing incredible muscle growth happen. She is understanding that progress takes time because what month are we in at this point? 4, I think I said. We're in month 4, right? And she understands progress takes time. She's going slow and steady. She's seen this awesome muscle growth. She is feeling so freaking good around food. She is feeling like a sexy lady during intimate time. She still has good and bad days, but she recognizes that she is human and that's okay. That's natural. She still has her community of women who are just there to support her, who has an awesome coach, good days, bad days, all the things. And she's just feeling supported and confident. And she knows she's going in the right direction. She even got a job promotion because she has a new level of confidence in herself. And she's saving so much time that would have been going to doing the research. And she's actually able to level up in her career. She's got that new intimacy with her husband, and she's just feeling so gosh darn good. She's putting all of that time back into her family that would have been wasted dieting. Let's fast forward to a year, okay? Friend number 3 has continued to diet throughout that entire year. She has wasted so much money on diets that do not work, and she is so incredibly frustrated. Dieting is taking up her entire mental space. She has gained all of the weight back and then some, and her overall quality life is low. We have one life. She's not living her best life. She is now taking energy from her friends and family rather than filling them up. And she no longer trusts herself. She is really, really struggling with her relationship with her family and her husband. She doesn't realize, the impact that she's having on them, and it's actually taking a toll on her family dynamic. Friend number 2, she has lost 20 pounds when eating 1,200 calories. She tried that diet, give or take somewhere in this past year. After 3 months, she gave up. She couldn't maintain it. She gained 20 pounds back and then some. She has consistently jumped from diet to diet. And she finally realizes that she spent the entire last year making excuses because she was fearful of success. And she was scared of what would happen when she finally succeeds. So instead of owning up to her potential, she kind of went back to the diets unintentionally making excuses. She says, hey, she has to sit down with her friend 3. She's like, what are you doing? How are we doing this? She has this moment of, oh my gosh, this aha moment. Hey, I need to put in the work. I get it. I get to own up that, hey, I did these quick fixes and that's okay. They taught me and they pushed me to where I am today. Yeah, sure, I may be a year behind as friend 3, okay? But this is a totally different book, a totally different chapter, a totally different journey, and that's okay. She decides right then and there she will never diet again. She will track her macros. She will put in the work. She will go in the compound effect, right? The book that I love, and she will take it slow and steady, and she will stay with the consistency to make sure it happens. Friend number 3, remember, we're a year into this process. She's eating 1,000 more calories in her reverse diet. She is thriving in her social and her sex life because she is not fearful of food anymore. She is absolutely in love with her body. She's kicking butt at the gym. She has accepted her body through every stage, even the starting stages when she was in the learning process where she wasn't losing 50 pounds right then and there. And she has not binged in a year. She is ready for her calorie deficit. She is feeling so good. Let's fast forward another 6 months. Now we're like a year and a half through. Friend number 1 has yet to stop dieting. She's convinced that results are just not going to happen for her. She has extra doctor appointments because her health has actually started to become a risk factor for her, and she lashes out at those around her. Her relationship with her friends, her family has not gotten any better. Friend number 2, she is so freaking excited because she picked up tracking macros fast after she invested in a resource that was going to help her learn what to do rather than trying to pick out all these different pieces from different programs or different websites and all of that. She is already eating 500 calories more in her reverse diet. She is cooking on the top burner. She is feeling really good. She got her period back. She has so much more time that she used to be spending on Google and surfing social media, feeling bad about herself. She even started dating again, and she met someone, and she is excited. She is no longer fearful to be in public, and she has even actually started to roll forward with planning trips, and she is feeling good. She realizes it's a long-term change, and she's ready for it. Friend number 3, she reverse dieted successfully. She went into her calorie deficit. She's really not in a big calorie deficit because she had such a successful reverse diet. She's already down 15 pounds, hasn't binged in a year and a half. She is feeling great. Her muscles starting to pop now that she's losing that weight. Her husband and her have decided they want to start planning for children. And because she has worked that whole entire year and a half, bettering herself, bettering her inner growth, bettering her, her character and who she is, she has a healthy body. She is ready. She is ready. So when it comes down to it, these are 3 different just made up scenarios. I will say a lot of these scenarios come from what my actual clients struggle with. So these are true things. These people are made up in the actual friend 1, 2, and 3, but these are things that clients that I have come to me struggling with, and we are healing. It come from my personal experience, and I have been able to heal. And when we come down to it, the problem with, I'm like, oh, that's the front of my seat here. I got closer and closer in front of my seat. Got really excited. But when it comes down to it, we want to pick the option that might not be the fastest, but would give us the long-term results. Okay? It will not be easy. It will not be as easy as 1, 2, 3. It might be, there will be ups and downs. It might be one of those things where it's like, you don't want to ever have a down. You never want to feel low. To be completely honest with you, you want to have those moments. You want to have the downs because that's when you are going to learn, which is why I love to support my clients, right? When you have those bad days, I'm there to help pick you up and to help you learn and to grow and see how you can change that situation in the future. It's about how you show up when it is hard. Do you put the blame on somebody else, or do you recognize what went on, take ownership of it? And it's not always, I think what's important to know is when I say putting the blame on someone else, yes, keto did you dirty, right? Keto did you dirty, but you also went into keto, right? So it's one of those things where we can't just say, keto did this to me, like it's only keto. No, just own up and say, hey, I recognize maybe I shouldn't have done keto. It's okay. Give yourself a hug. Say, hey, I've learned from this scenario. Let's move forward, okay? Commit and you will succeed. Don't commit. Well, hold on there. Let's not get too excited. Let's not commit to a diet. Commit to sustainability, maintainability, the education, and something that's enjoyable, right? We want all 4 of those pieces. Commit to those and then you will succeed. And It's just when you show up when it's hard, that's when changes happen. There will be good and bad days. You need something that's going to be able to push you forward. And this is from the Compound Effect, the book. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals the long-term change. Okay, write that down. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals the long-term change. It's so wild to me that I've had this podcast episode like in my mind that I've wanted to record for a long time. And I picked up the Compound Effect and I have read this. I could not even tell you how many times I've read this. And the piece that I read at the very beginning, I was like, wait a second, this is so wild. This correlates so much with what I want to say in this episode. So I think what's really important here is if you want to lose 50 pounds and you're just like, I want to lose that weight right now. I am eating 1,200 calories. I don't want to reverse diet. I don't want to put in the work. Like, I just don't want to do it. My sweet, sweet peach, my beautiful peach, my lovely gal pal, we want to make the smart choices, the consistency, the time, put that in, because we didn't get to where we are overnight. Might have taken years to decades of dieting. We can't make that change overnight also, okay? We want to put in the work. So if you need support, my Beautiful Peach Mastermind is currently open for enrollment. I've got all kinds of holiday fun things going on. If you haven't seen me talk about it, you go ahead and pop over to my Instagram. I've been talking about all the good things that are going on. And I believe when this episode's coming out, my bonuses will be ending. I can't remember off the top of my head. Just go check Instagram for me. But I've got spots open. If you are struggling and you want support and you want to see those changes happen, ask for help, okay? Whether that is you want to lose weight, whether that is you want to heal your metabolism, whether that is you might be eating 3,000 calories and you want to lose weight, but you don't know what to do. You've maybe never dieted in your life and you want to lose weight. That's fine too. I support clients in all of those avenues. I just want to make sure that you are taking action rather than staying stuck, okay? The more we sit and try and make a decision, the more we're going to push into decision fatigue. We get more and more tired. Here's one of the biggest life lessons that I've learned through just owning my business, being a CEO, and having run this very successful business for over 6 years at this point. When it comes to making decisions, if you take so long to actually make the decision and take action, you will be burnt out before you even start. The burnout comes from just sitting around trying to decide if you're going to decide. Just decide, right? Just decide, okay? And make that action forward. Just do it. Well, even if it's just starting to track macros, even if you're like, hey, I'm not ready for coaching, but I want to start. Great. Awesome. Let's get you tracking your macros. Go start. Just start. I want you. How many times can I say this? I'm like, just do it. Just start. You got this. You can do it. And I want you to know how capable you are. I say this all the time. I think we lose sight, and I think the diet industry makes us lose sight in how capable we are because it makes us lose trust for ourselves. Never put judgment on your past self. Okay. Never, ever, ever put judgment on your past self or your current self. If you're in a situation and you're not happy about it, do not judge yourself. Give yourself the biggest bear hug. Say, hey, it's okay. We are where we are. It is what it is. And you're going to make the actionable steps moving forward starting today. That's going to better you. That's going to make you have food freedom. That's going to help you lose that weight in a sustainable way. And know that it's okay that you are where you are. And there is possible future, not just a possible future. There is a future for you where you have the endless power, the endless results, and you're feeling amazing. Don't forget it, okay? Don't forget it. I love you all so very much. You are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful humans. And as I always say, if you need my help, if you need my support, if you want to know more about BPM, actually go ahead and DM me on Instagram. You can DM me at BPM Sneak Peek, and I will send you the video walkthrough of the actual BPM program details. You can also actually just DM me and say, hey, I'm interested in working with you in my Beautiful Peach Mastermind, and give me the details of what's going on with you. And I can talk through if BPM's a good fit, if maybe you should do the reverse diet course, whatever it may be. Just DM me. If you're like, hey, I don't even know, DM me. I'm here for it. Okay. I appreciate you all so much, and get really excited for next week's episode because I am going to be talking all about how long a reverse diet will take. And we'll be taking some steps there. It's actually a really, really, really good one. I'm really excited about it. So with all of this, I appreciate you all so very much. And don't forget to do a 5-star rate and review, okay? It makes me happy. All the love your way. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye, Beautiful Peach.